The Roman Empire, while renowned for its achievements, also had a dark side characterized by violence, oppression, and social inequality. Here are some aspects that highlight this troubling facet, along with shocking facts that underline their severity. Slavery. A significant part of the Roman economy relied on slave labor. Slaves were often treated harshly, with little to no rights, and could be subjected to brutal conditions and punishment. It's estimated that slaves made up about 30 to 40% of the population in some areas, and they could be executed or tortured at the whim of their owners. Some slaves were forced to fight in gladiatorial games, adding a layer of cruelty to their existence. Gladiatorial games. These spectacles were not just entertainment. They often involved violent combat to the death. Many gladiators were slaves or prisoners of war, facing a grim fate in the arena. It's believed that thousands of gladiators fought each year, and the games were so popular that emperors would sometimes hold elaborate spectacles involving thousands of combatants and wild animals, showcasing the empire's brutal approach to entertainment. Political corruption and assassinations. The Roman political landscape was rife with corruption, intrigue, and violence. Emperors and senators frequently resorted to assassination and treachery to gain power. For instance, the notorious Emperor Nero famously had his own mother killed to eliminate a political threat. The climate of fear and instability led to a staggering number of assassinations. Over 30 emperors were murdered in a span of just over a century. Class inequality. Roman society was highly stratified, with a vast gap between the wealthy elite and the poor. While the upper classes enjoyed lavish lifestyles, dining on exotic foods and hosting grand banquets, many citizens faced poverty and limited opportunities. The urban poor often lived in crowded, unsanitary conditions, and reliance on grain handouts from the state was common. The stark contrast between the elite and the impoverished fueled social unrest and occasional riots. Conquest and colonization. Rome's expansion was marked by military conquest, frequently involving the subjugation and brutal treatment of conquered peoples. During the conquest of Gaul, Julius Caesar documented the mass slaughter and enslavement of entire tribes, with estimates suggesting that 1 million Gauls were killed and another million enslaved. This ruthless approach often led to the destruction of local cultures and identities. Military brutality. Roman legions were known for their ruthless tactics in warfare, often committing atrocities against civilians in conquered territories. The destruction of Carthage in the Third Punic War serves as a stark example. After a 3-year siege, the city was razed, and its surviving inhabitants were either killed or enslaved. The Romans also practiced a tactic called decimation, where 1 in every 10 soldiers in a mutinous unit was executed to instill fear and obedience. In conclusion, while the Roman Empire is often celebrated for its contributions to civilization, such as advancements in law, architecture, and governance, it is essential to recognize the darker facets of its history. The legacy of Rome, therefore, is not just one of greatness, but also one of caution, urging us to reflect on the costs of civilization and the importance of striving for a more equitable society.